we're going to be on page Tafresh Nun Gimel. The blurb at the top says, "Kedei lahavin is maimer rabot to understand this nikra masha kasav ramak. Keep it the chidach bekolim shehechter samach mem as Adam erishon. Hoyu lo l'samach mem achiza bekedusha v'hoyu tochor b'mitzas." Now that's before the chet. Ki nivracha the tashbes adach b'devarim atzricha l'chavodas kona, because this originally was a part of what he needed an ZOHAR for, to do things, to go and the order of the achila, so the person should get hungry, Shechinah had to sleep, and all these physical things that a human being has to do. But not something more, going further than that. Only what was necessary to serve God. He fortified himself, or he became more bold and powerful, to make a man more physical, and to take him off the path that was originally set out for him. So that all of his cravings, all of his direction will be after his taivas. And this really describes what actually happens to people, what's going on now. So therefore he was pushed out. Had no stake in Kedusha at all. And from that point on. Unless his powers could become nullified. So he said, HaKadosh Baruch Hu yishchot es ZOHAR lifnei tzadikim, v'yisukon ha'olam, and the world will be put back together again, uva esvus Hashem, b'zera v'navim es maimer habal. So we can understand this. So now we're going to read the Zohar, and I guess we'll just do it right off with the translation and so on and so forth. And it says like this: EICHAH yashva badad v'gomer, so isolated or alone, badad kedei lefarish pasuk zeh Leviticus chozor pasuk. He began to say lefarish masha kasav v'yomer Hashem Elokim es hanachash ki asisa zos, that you did this. Aragatecha mikol habehema, you are cursed from any other animal, any other creature. Ve'ever v'ashes beinecha u'bebein isha u'bebein zarcha u'bebein zarcha hine isha hi hashchina. When he says the word isha, he's referring here to the Shechinah. V'chazara, what's the zara? Hainu neshamas kedushos, the neshamas of the Jewish people. Make a separation between them. Nachash, who's the Nachash? The Nachash kind of the samach mem v'kochosiv. That's the Chitzonius that is around us all the time. Until you actually reach the neshamas of the goyim. V'omer ki devavar of the sagi have min yoma de ispre alma al ida de eitach and the nachash. Sina, Gedola, tremendous amount of hate is engendered, as you see, as the Jewish people are getting stronger, really. There's a tremendous amount of hate that's growing around us. The Nachash Sina Gedola, Choisach B'bein Gedusha, Vasetra Achra, between those two poles. V'yom Shenivra Olam, and that hate, it continued from the moment that the world was created. Al Sivas Atzas HaNachash, through, because of the advice, the influence of the Nachash, that he really caused all of the separation between them. Rosh Kol Klipos, Vuha Satan, Vuha Yetzirah, Vuha Malach Amavis. That's all the different descriptions. Kamuva B'Besechtes Baba Basra, and he gives a site reference. The Mahaki Shada, the Islataya, from that time of the curse, is Dachia Rabamikme Tyra de Malka. Ki ba'oser Abashan sheniskalo l'samach men, from the time of the curse of the Samach men, Nidka Melifte Abishar HaMelech, he was pushed away from the gates of the king. Ve'elu noitel l'chelik b'shefa gadusha hakadosh, he doesn't get any of that shebishar HaMelech, which was found at the gate of the king. Now, it's not clear what he means by the gate of the king, but I would say that it refers to the yesod of the king. That's by thinking about it. But actually it gets into the essence of the, I guess it gets to of the sweat, of the liquid that comes out of the animals. So he said, V'hu oriv, that he lies in wait, torment continuously, ben gedre ha'olim, between the borders of the world, of the fence, the boundaries of the world. What does that mean? The hainu, ben eden gedarim da'araisa, between those boundaries, which are the statutes that are set up by the Torah. Ben osam agaderim shel Torah, and those, he's just repeating it. Kol eden the dashem be'akev be'inen gederin nashechlon. Kol osam shadashim, all of those that trample be'erev as osam agederim kun noshech osam, that the gederim, actually he bites those people who tramples on, I guess he means the mitzvahs, and now the Matuk explains, Ritzol Alomer Sham, who nimsach nishoch v'lahachte, he's there to bite, he's there to seduce, or to cause people to go off the derech. V'lakach tzarek ha'adan hisrachek harbech b'min geder iser, person has to stay away from forbidden things, k'dei shelo ni'nashkol husham anachash, that the nachash shouldn't bite him. V'vo masha kosa, like it written, v'chazartach b'chaz b'nei Yisrael mitumasam, and you bring them back from their tumah. Kadei shelo yikashach be'eser nida, so that they should not come back into the iser of a nida k'mavor b'psech the shavuos. Apparently over there, the phrase was v'chazartam as b'nei Yisrael mitumasam, so that they should not be found in the iser of nida. It's interesting that he says that. So v'chayotzach of emission is kara v'chalageder yenashgur hanachash b'yachtio, that if you get too close to the boundary, you go to places and see things you're not supposed to see that arouse your taivos. So he says, Mishin is Karav el Hageder, Yinashko HaNachlish B'Yachtil, the Nachlish is there, and they bite him. He says, the Ashkach B'vayed the Nashech, Oy Lemi Shehayetzer Hara Motzesham. It goes to a place where the Yetzer Hara is there in force. That a person actually gets bitten by it and causes him to sin. Oy al osa sina, woe to that hate, that evil hate that was guarded. Al sina who's the Isha is the Shechinah. He said the Iskaria Shenekras Isha Yiras Hashem. His devover of the bish not Allah min yoma the Isbere Alma. He says this Sina Rosh Shomer law mi yom shenivra ha'olam, is guarded by her for the day that the world is created. The Hechter as Adam Marisha. So it says Sina Rosh Shomer law was guarded for her miyom shenivra ha'olam, the Hechter as Adam Marisha, and that is what caused Adam Marisha to fall. Ad the Savach of Allah b'tzvi ruch the Mishka of the Afro. Ad sheshiver also b'shivira b'churban beis hamikdash, until he gets into the shvira, the complete breaking of everything that have in the destruction of the Beis Hamikdash, the hashkivacha ba'afracha galos, in order to cause her to dwell in the dust of galos. Kihu rodev acher b'nei Yisrael lahachtiam, he's constantly running after us to cause us to stray. Adjehu Goram Sheyishkon B'Meshkan Asecha Shuchach HaBeis HaMikdash, until the time that it's actually caused that she'll come back. I guess that's what it means, B'Mishkan Asecha, which is the base of Mikdash. All of the time that we're not there. There, the Samach Men is on our tail. He said, Hine Eicha Yashver Badad Ha'ir Rabasi Am Hoisa. Tistako Ba'asvan the Reish called Teva V'Teva. He said this phrase, Eicha Yashva Badad Ha'ir Rabasi Am Hoisa. Those Roshi Tevos, he said, Tistako Ba'osia Shivarosh called Teva V'Teva. V'tishkach Netira Devavach Babish is Natra. So then you have Vitimsa as Shmiras Hasina, the guard that is. I mean, I guess he means to say, he keeps saying this, so I guess he means to say that this hate that the Samach Mem has for us, or for the Jewish people, is something that he guards, he keeps it, he doesn't dissipate. V'timsach shmirasach of this hasinoah, hasina harosh, hashomer hasamach mem l'chashchina, ad the ischar of the base Mikdash, until he finally gets to the place. That phrase Eva Ra, Timsa Beresh Asvan, you find in those, you'll find that in the Roshi Tevas, Ba'osios, Harishonas, and Iskaros, from those first letters that we told you of that phrase. Isnatar la lahaki Eishas Chayim, Shechasina Shemura Belong Shemura. This guarded hate, this hate that doesn't go away, Shemorach lo le'eshas chayil haki shihi Shechinah. B'sevirach debei mikdash b'sevirach v'churach b'beis mikdash. The mishkat la'afkra lahashkiv as Shechinah la'afar behind the shetelach begalach, that she would have to go out into galus, into the common ground. So then he says, Hadahu Dechsev, this is the meaning of this phrase. Zecher shekasaka almana rabasi begoyim, sarisi b'midbedina b'choisach lamas. So here's another Roshi Tevos. Let's see, Tikra. So he said, Tikra lamafreya b'reish asvon. So take the first letters and then read them backwards. Ba'osias arishonash lamafreya, timsach b'milus la b'shivrein. V'shivrech, you in your broken state, Tahainu shevel hashchina, breaking the Shechinah. So he said, V'stivira debei mikdash, b'shivira is v'churban beis mikdash, because it doesn't get in, it does, v'shviras and breaking, and the churban of the beis mikdash, v'stivira de kenishtach the yisrael, v'shviras knesses yisrael the Shechinah, another word for Shechinah, the v'avor b'shech adbek law, this tremendous ava, this tremendous hate, raw, hid bikanach the Shechinah, v'shiver also, and broke her. So we see the hate is all around us now. And we see also at the same time how many people are learning Torah, and the enthusiasm for that. Eicha is dabkas alahaki ava raw. How is it that she's clinging to this bad side? This is the critical voice of the snake. Shagarnam kal marira the bechir barkian, because he called kol mar bitter cry. Shall bechia of crying, the hamalachim shabarakia to the malachim who transport the shefa from Hashem Yisbarach into the world. He says, Elin karan echo, they're all calling out where? Elach hamalachim hakadoshim karam echo, they have no shefa to bring. There's no place to bring it to. Kamosha kasa malachi shalom amar yivakaya yavakiyun. So they cry out in bitterness. A mesitra achra bakara eva. A malachi hasitra achra, though, on the other hand, karim eva, they call out hate, hate, hate. Ad sheyigvach b'baladin as chovo, until the baladin actually collects his debt. He's constantly telling us how bad we are. You listen to the world, how it's calling us now. This is what it's called, what is written. He says, Dahainu, Bein Sitra Do, Ubein Sitra Do, Bein Sada Gedusha, the Bein Sada Sitra, the tremendous hate that's in between these two places. Ishtakach Tamen, Bechurben Be Mikdashe. And that's where you find the tremendous hate that brought us to the destruction of the previous pasuk Rishon Shebagilus Eichah. He says Israshim Kola Nirsham Akol Barosha Tevas. You could see it all in the beginning letters. Lemin Dagadahai Ko, that this Ko, the 25 which we mentioned previously, is the 25 letters of the Shema Yisrael, which is a lashon of Yichud, of oneness. Ad Beik Law Eva of Raw. He said Ladas to know ki Kof Hey, that is this 25, Hazeh Shihah Shechinah. Hadeveka Osach of the Eva Raw is now clinging to her this tremendous hate that's coming after her all the time. From the day that the world was created. Oh, the Masha Kosev Eicha Yashva Badad Kadei Lefarish Pasuk Zeh. So now we're going a little different. He says to explain this pasuk. Rebbe Harkin as a pasuk hikdin the farish Masha Kosev Vishalcheu Hashem Elokem, and Hashem will send him Began Eden, out of Gan Eden. V'yagarish as Ada v'yashkem Bekedin the Gan Eden, and he sent him out, and he sent into the east of the Gan Eden. He Masha Kosev v'yagarish Ace. So this word Ace, we've seen it other places. It represents the letters Aleph to Taf. So he said, "V'dal Knesset Yisrael." This Ace, that's the Jewish people. He said, "B'churban Bein Mikdash," at the time of the Churban of the Beis Hamikdash. Let me find this. There we go. So he says, he writes, the Matok B'Devash writes, Zeh Romans al Knesset Yisrael, the Jewish people, or that is the Shechinah, Shihah Shechinah, B'churban Beis Hamikdash, and the destruction of the bigness, Hanikros Ace, which is called Ace. Is Terachas B'Seruchin, Shenisgarshacha B'Gerushin, she was Mizgarish she was divorced from the temple, separated forcibly. B'Bechinas Tachtona Shebecha B'Galus, in her lowest level, which leads to Galus. Now, here the lowest level would be perhaps the Malchus of Malchus. Hatachtona Shebecha Galus, V'hi Nizgarshacha B'Chazaka, and she's forcibly thrown out. V'od Ishtalachas B'Shiluchim, Shenishlachach B'Shluchim, that she's sent out with emissaries. B'Bechinas Aliyah Sheba, referring to the highest level. I think he's speaking about the Shechinah. Shehi Mushalachas in Imach Ilah, and it means like this, that she goes out not just by herself, but when the Shechinah is uprooted, all of the shefa and all of the patterns that came from up above, they're also uprooted. Dechsev is written like this, that they both were destroyed. Shechinechem Mushulachas ima Adam do Elas Adam. So all of them were, that is, he says, the Shechinah and it sounds like Bina, were also sent out ima Adam do Elas Adam, in order to help the people, the Rachem Allah. Shuvos shtei heyin, that he has these two shuvos, I'm not sure, these two patterns of return, which are this shtei heyin. He doesn't develop this thought. Shtei heyin, which is the hey, the first hey of the Yud Kei Vav Kei, and the last hey. V'az v'kars yachad the malkal naflos. Hakisei b'shechal l'melech, which is the Shechinah, which holds the shefa that's coming up above. Shehi kisa the Zer Anpin, she's the throne for Zer Anpin, and Nikra Melech Nofla, who's called the fallen king. The Indian, if he lost, so her fall, He Kamosha Kosev Shakasev Hashlik Mishemayim Aretz. And Mefarish, what does that mean? Gerish es, say good gerish es. We're back to the word es again. Oil shagarish es Shechinah. And Mefarish, da kurs yachad the malko. This is referring to the throne. Zera v'kisei shel hamelech. This is the throne or the chair, the seat of the king. She has Shechinah hanikras es. So she's the Shechinah that's called es. Vaid is Tadras, Vaid is the Rachas, Vaid the Nephalos, Oishin is Pazra, Oishin is Garsha, Oishin Naflach Begalos, that she fell into Galos. V'masha Kasev Adam, so when it says the Adam, Hainu Haki, the Shalit al Kursai, Zer Anpin, that's the Adam, Hashalit al Lakise, who has control or sovereignty over the throne, it's his throne. Because for him to become complete, he needs her. But she's not there. So therefore he also falls. Because this arousal leads to Shef and Bracha. He says, and since also he falls down. And it's written on that, Val Demuz Hakise Demuz Kamara Adam. Shehuzer Anpin. The Demuz, the image of the throne, was like that of a man. So he said Shehuzer Anpin Sheholok Eichah Shechinah that follows along after the Shechinah. The Shamracha Begalusa Hare Naflos Karsia Naflos Kula. If you lose the throne on which the presence of Zer Anpin would lodge, to make that yichud, when the throne's not there, Nafal Akol, everything else falls down. A Ritzon of the Begam Zer Anpin, Nafal. So I guess we're out of time for today. And wish you a happy birthday again coming up for you, and all the best. Have a wonderful weekend.